researched by members be accompanied by the research itself in order for the city to determine if the claim is valid. That the VAB members remained independent. We have enough politics, and anyone seeking a political position must go campaign on the ground like all of us and leave board's appointment to credible individuals that will focus on the work. Speaker, the idea that members must be paid for travel time from private location to work must never be entertained. Individual appointment must not seek to enrich themselves. However, their primary focus, like all of us, should be on servicing the city and having deep care for its finance. This policy on 6.2.2 COJ condition of the appointment states that a VAB member will be remunerated for the hours of work, will be reimbursed for traveling in terms of kilometers, and will be reimbursed for data used for visual online meetings. Speaker, another condition is that there must be a clear monitoring system in order to avoid heavy claim that can further cripple the city finance. Speaker, we trust that COCTA will not let the city down during the appointment process and ensure that all appointment members do what they are expected and paid to do. We will not be shy as the EFF to call for a disbandment of this board should there be a need. Ours is to ensure that money spent by the city works for our people directly or indirectly. Therefore, it must be noted that we will not tiptoe around a lazy board. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Sindani, ANC.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Greetings to the chairperson of the caucus of the ANC in absentia, the Honorable Mayor Kwame, and the Speaker as well. We as the ANC, we would like to ask this House to approve this item. We move for the approval of the item. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. MMC Masuku.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'll start with the question from Councillor Boer. We also did at length have a discussion on this, and the clarity was provided that the court actually gave a non-declaratory order, meaning that it doesn't have to be enforced, unlike what a precedence would do. And therefore, for us to deal with issues of double dipping, we should then have a policy or a mechanism to deal with whatever was the problem. COCTA also is very much aware of the challenges that we've been going through, and we've had various consultation with COCTA to address this and outline how the remuneration should work. And post the COJ engagements, COCTA has also said that, in fact, all municipalities should look at having a policy to actually deal with remuneration of the valuation appeal board members. And the explanation is further provided on page 20.4 without me necessarily going into detail on the matter. But I think that the response clarifies that. Councillor Santana, your point is noted that we just took long to do the work. We should have endeavored to do it before the sign, but there's still the 2024, 2025, so we'll be fine for the years to come. And I think the spirit of the policy is to actually literally just deal with the challenges that we've faced as the city of Johannesburg. I also thank you, Councillor Sindani and Councillor Rafferty. Suckers for punishment, fair enough in the sense that we have to wait and then do things in the sense that we could have probably developed these policies in advance. But I think local government evolves. All of us have been in this space, and local government evolves, and we must be able to then, as time and space moves on, develop policies that actually guide us and assist us to be better in our governance prescripts. So we ask Council to approve the policy. Thank you.
Thank you, MMC. The recommendations are on page 20.6. Is the item agreed to? Thank you.
Item 21 is City Power's 20-year independent power purchase program.
Councillor Smith.
Speaker, withdrawn this item as well.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Bapela.
Madam Speaker, and everybody else, and all protocol observed. We are actually calling for this item to be withdrawn. This report is very elaborate and extremely open-ended. The item was added ad hoc to the agenda without having served before the Section 79. Due to the impact over the next 20 years that this will have on the city, it should have been properly investigated by a number of Section 79 committees. The fact that there are blanket calls for exemption from finance and procurement procedures is not feasible, as it opens the door for possible corrupt and dubious appointments. In actual fact, it should be seen as a backdoor for cadre deployment and as a perfect reflection of what the coalition of, I shall not repeat the word, is all about. Let's make no mistake, we support the general idea, as we, the DA, started this process already when Mpopalatse was the mayor of this once great city. But you cannot place a major document such as this with huge financial implications before us out of the blue without proper investigation and analysis by the relevant bodies and try to squeeze it through while bypassing all protocol and regulations. Even in the technical terms, there are flaws that will greatly impact the value chain, as the engineering and construction standard is based on 25 years and not 20 years as proposed here. This difference of 5 years will make it 20% influence on the prices quoted by prospective suppliers, as the costs and recoup of such has to be done in a much shorter time span. This is just a sample of how the failure of proper oversight would plunge the city into further chaos rather than solve an ongoing problem. As Amos Masondo and the tarring of Soweto was mentioned, I'm old enough to have been a councillor at the time. I have to quote Amos Masondo, as North Riding was overnight turned into high density from agricultural in order to milk all incoming revenue. He said in council, I will use all the rates and taxes from the North Riding to tar Soweto. This resulted, yeah, you think it's funny, I believe you. This resulted in substandard design and workmanship on infrastructure in North Riding, which is the root cause of the current horrid conditions that residents in North Riding have to endure. Yet another failure by the ANC. Therefore, we will not and cannot support this item. Thank you.
Action SA, Councillor Munyayi.
Thanks, Speaker. Ndimadekwana. Nditamuja chipinga ichi ndilumelise kwa cast leader yashu, unobuhle Mthembu. Ndidove ndilumelise na zikhanselara za Action SA. Speaker, before I can even address the matter in hand, someone here stood up unprovoked and lectured us about the history. I would like to remind him, under his government since 1994, buildings in the inner city are being hijacked by foreign nationals. What have you done? Nothing. 60% of young people are unemployed. What have they done? Nothing. What happened regarding the 1 million houses that you promised people in Alexander? Nothing. You continue to disrespect South African young people, giving them 350. Don't worry, 2024 is around the corner. Speaker, in line with our Action SA adopted policy, adopted 11 policy, energy is one of the policy adopted. As Action SA, we have made a commitment that we will eliminate Eskom monopoly in the electricity market by allowing independent power producer to produce electricity.
Councillor, can you have a seat? There's a hand with a point of order.
Can the Speaker kindly tell us about 11 million that was stolen by Mashaba? Thank you very much.
Councillor. Councillor, can you continue with your speech? And can you ask your colleagues there of Action SA to minimize their noise?
Thanks, Speaker. As Action SA, we would like to remind this House that Action SA last year took Eskom to court, and the court ruled that load shedding is unconstitutional as it infringed on the basic rights, unconstitutional as it infringed on the basic right of South African. And the court
Councillors,
ruled
on this side, please.
And the court ruled in favor of Action SA, requests that hospitals, schools, and police station must be exempted from load shedding. Guess what? Instead, for Eskom/ANC address the concern raised by the court ruling, the Eskom and the ANC decided to spend the taxpayers' money to appeal the ruling. As Action SA, we do grant the city power permission to pursue approval to embark on the 20 years independent power producers program for the new generation capacity. I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Councillor from the EFF, Councillor Makasi.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
Councillor Mkasi.
I understand the Speaker. Thank you, Speaker, again. Greetings to our 29 ground forces deployed by the EFF, led by the chairperson, Bapela Serute, City of Johannesburg residents. Speaker, it is very important to remind the people of South Africa about the biggest political gathering that will take place on the 10th of February 2024 in KZN Moses Mabhida Stadium, where we'll outline the clear program of action of the EFF government, which will go together with a report back on mandate given to us by voters since we became part of government in different municipalities and being part of provincial legislature and parliament. On this date, we will be making commitments in front of the entire country, not promises. Speaker, this upcoming weekend on the 3rd and the 4th is the voter registration weekend. We call on all those who qualify to register to vote to visit their nearest voting station, to update their address, check their names, and register to vote. Voting is one of the rights which black people were denied to exercise during the white-only government. All citizens have to know that the most strong weapon in their hands is vote. No number of protest or strike will deliver economic freedom in our lifetime, but your pen will liberate you. Speaker, on item 21, City Power's 20 years independent power purchase program, as the economic freedom fighters who hold a very strong view that the term for this program have to at least align with the political office. But nevertheless, as the economic freedom fighters, we approve the recommendations. I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor from the ANC, Councillor T. Madiba.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, one must say that we are not surprised if there's someone in this chamber that disagrees to this item. Again, not everyone in this chamber will agree with this item. They never liked us anyway. And we know that. They know for a fact that this item, if it passes, then the people, the poorest of the poorest, will be the one that will be benefiting, because they are advantaged enough to benefit in any way that they were benefiting historically. So, that's why they are not talking about mixed energy. It is because of they can use their own money and buy their own solars, so that our black people at the end of the day are the ones who are suffering. Speaker, this item seeks the approval of council to allow City Power to get in a 20-year independent.
Take your seat.
They never like that. Man.
Councillor, can you carry on?
Oh, Nekiriki point of order. Speaker, item 10.1 seeks the approval of council to allow City Power to get in a 20-year independent power purchase program. And the reason for that is to achieve sustainable service delivery. This is for residents of Johannesburg to have access to electricity, reducing reliance on Eskom, energy mix and stability of the network, and minimal outages. The residents of Johannesburg deserves better, and we know that the GLU will be able to implement that. Hence, Speaker, you'll then get people who, councillors who will then have a challenge with this, then talking about oversight and all that. It is the reality that this council is the highest decision-making structure, and therefore, if we take a decision to implement this, then the oversight will then be done by Section 79. So there's nothing wrong with starting with council, then follow with oversight by Section 79. With that said, Speaker, we have noted that we already have security for the 24th event at Moses Mapita. And now we are just being told that after the main event on the 24th of February, we will be having cleaners on the 10th of March in making sure that they clean Moses Mapita. We urge the 44 Watt to also assist by making sure that traffic aibikona Natali on 24th February 2024. With that, we request Council as the African National Congress to approve this item. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. Aipo. If we find that councillor will be outside. Very serious. Councillor Rainton.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask if you can, we changed our speakers list just to add an additional councillor.
I'm not done
before.
with the list, Councillor
Okay,
Rainton.
thank you. Just because normally it's higher up.
I'm
Thank
not
you.
done with the list, Councillor Rainton. Councillor Jacobs from the DA.
Executive Mayor, Madam Speaker, fellow councillors, all protocol observed. Quote, when plunder becomes a way of life, men create for themselves a legal system that authorizes it and a moral code that glorifies it. Unquote. I rise to speak on item 21. Madam Speaker, let it be noted that this item has not passed through the Programming Committee, and according to Rule 62, Section 1, the Programming Committee must determine all business of the Council. This has not happened. Item 21 requires the oversight and concurrence of the Section 79 Committee. Therefore, this item cannot be considered an urgency item. The City Power Business Plans, dated 23rd of October 2023, was presented to the Section 79 Committee, and the information pertaining to the IPP program was as scarce as a GLU MMC. The Democratic Alliance members questioned the progress of IPP's, independent power producers, and the strategy, to which City Power officials advised that IPPs were awarded in August 2023. The Democratic Alliance members requested a report pertaining to the IPP business plans and the detail pertaining to the awarded IPP tenders. This should have been presented at the end of the November 2023 sitting, and this was not forthcoming. It is therefore very concerning that City Power is requesting exemptions in terms of Section 120 of the MFMA without motivation and without the feasibility study. The feasibility study would ensure that this Council and Section 79 would be able to make an informed decision, thereby not disadvantaging the residents of Johannesburg. Madam Speaker, agreeing to free a city entity from obligations or liability that protects the taxpayer and city assets without just motivation is reckless, especially considering that City Power finds himself in a deficit of 19 billion. More than ever, Section 120 of the MFMA needs to be firmly in place in order to allow for proper scrutiny of the affairs of taxpayers' money. Lest we forget, Madam Speaker, we are accountable to the ratepayers. Therefore, if they decide to rates boycott a GLU government that abuses their money, then it remains the people's prerogative. The GLU government are not the bosses of our residents. The residents are our bosses. Furthermore, Madam Speaker, it appears that a precedent is being set in these chambers to ignore Section 79 committees, programming committees, even overlooking and bypassing the MFMA and other legislature which has been put in place to protect the taxpayers of the city of Johannesburg.
57 seconds.
Our city is burning and people are dying as the GLU administration continue on this destructive path of treating the city as their personal piggy bank. Madam Speaker, I humbly and strongly urge fellow councillors to think about the ramifications of supporting an item that removes transparency and accountability from this council and the entities. The Democratic Alliance cannot support this item. Thank you.
MMC Squaler. MMC Squaler. MMC.
My Babu. Thanks very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, let me put it in record that maybe I should remind councillors on my right, literally right, even ideologically on the right. I'm saying there was an energy in Daba a couple of years ago where a lot of discussion were held around the issue of IPPs. And council money was spent in a particular council energy in Daba. So we are actually implementing what was discussed there. So I don't know why now, because if administration has changed, they have changed their ideas. But unlike them, we don't flush away everything that we find in the system. If there are matters that we think will benefit our people, residents of COJ, we carry on with it. So, but today you are proving the point to the residents of how hypocritical you can be. On the Kanyela, Bao Shoshad, Namadu Sasenja. But I'm going to get with suggestions to support this program. Madam Speaker, this is part of the COJ energy mix that we are in fact making sure that it comes or becomes a reality. I can't overemphasize the importance of Kelvin Power Station here. Everybody knows that 13% of our power comes from them, and in fact, the northern suburb of Johannesburg gets supplied by the very same power, Kelvin. But I must also indicate, Speaker, that in the country as a whole, if you want to get it right in terms of security of energy, you can't have ideas in isolation from what happens in the province and national. You should have a very integrated plan that talks about the whole entire sphere of government. So in here, we're not working alone, Speaker. After this, I think we shall then come back to Council to request for public participation. I'm requesting Council to note this item. Thanks very much.
Thank you, MMC. The recommendations can be found on page 21.13. Is the item agreed to?
Slowly, no alone.
The yeses have it. Councillor Van Dijk. Van Dijk.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it's Van Dijk. Okay.
Thank you, Speaker. Please note the DA's dissent on this item.
Thank you, Councillor Van Dijk.
Councillors, we are on item 22, which is changes in membership of the Municipal Public Accounts Committee.
Councillor Baloy, EFF.
Thank you very much. Greetings to the chairperson of the 29 Battalion, to the Chief Whip, our MMC, Speaker, Mayor, and your executive committee members. All our guests that are in our midst today, I thank you. Speaker, let me just take this opportunity to wish a speedy recovery to one of our own, our Chief Whip. May you recover speedily wherever you are, so that you can join us back. Speaker, with this opportunity that is given to me here, let us all use this opportunity to avoid what was once called a poor white problem. Some of the people that paged the Bantu education like I did knew exactly what Bantu education is. And they will tell you about poor white problem. Unfortunately, I don't have much time. I was going to go through.
Councillor, can you just take a seat? Councillor Knott.
Thank you.
Thanks, Madam Speaker. Sorry, for clarity, can you just confirm what item we're on? Because we're getting a bit confused. Thank you.
Councillor Baloy, can you please proceed?
Thank you very much, Speaker, for your kindness. And thanks, Councillor Knott. You are 100% right. We are on item 22. I thought maybe you heard the secretary when they mentioned. So, but it brings me back to the poor white problem. Farmers left, during the 18th centuries, farmers left their farm to come to Johannesburg in the pursuit of greener pastures. I just want to highlight here that those that are on the right,
Councillor, can you carry on with your speech?
Leadership is not something that is acquired through color. You cannot acquire leadership through color. I just want to state clearly that even if those that are sitting on the right, they had their flops, like what farmers did. They left farmers with their wife to rush to Johannesburg in pursuit of gold, while they knew they had no machine to dig. They depended on British people. So today, don't make yourself smart. You once called this country a dark continent. The very same of you that are sitting there.
Councillor. 1 minute left.
Oh. With this 1 minute, I would love to approve the item 22 and accept all those people that are deployed in that category. They're going to do well because they're under this government, which has got a light, which has got educated. It's an African table. We'll sit in it as we like. Thank you very much.
The ANC, Councillor Mbengwa. ANC, Councillor Mbengwa. Councillor Mbengwa, ANC. Councillor Mbengwa, before you sit, I'm not sure. Councillor Belinda has a point of order for you.
On me
but
before I
let's see. Councillor Belinda.
Speaker, I'd like to call a point of order on you. Firstly, my hand was up and you either purposely ignored me or didn't see me while Councillor Baloyi was speaking, because I wanted to raise the point at the time. So I want clarity whether you are now silencing the opposition from speaking and raising points of orders, and if that is the precedence that's going to be set in this House.
Councillor Belinda, Councillor Belinda, I didn't see you, and why would I want people not to speak? I didn't see you. I've given everybody that their hands was up a chance to speak. I did not see you. I didn't see you doing that, raising your hand. So unfortunately, apologies for not seeing you. I really apologize, but I was busy connecting with the secretary next to me. There was something urgent. Thank you. Councillor Mbengwa?
Okay. Voch Speaker Randy Madekwa na vudi na vatu vote va pano South Africa. Ndiko ima pano ndo imela item number 22. Maybe Speaker, I would suggest the following, man, before I speak. As you gave me a lot of 10 minutes, but I'm going to use only 2. That in your responsibilities as a custodian of us as councillors, maybe organize some psychologists that will deal with our emotions. We are very, 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 very angry and all those things. So you must maybe look at those issues.
Can you
so that we
continue
can have
to
a
the
proper decorum here. Madam Speaker, I'm rising on item number 22, which is the MPEC of the city, and is to welcome the members that have come there. We are really appreciating, we're looking forward and welcome those members that we are going to have a serious impact on the city and make people accountable. As I exit, I just wanted to remind and reiterate that 2024 is 2024, and the ANC is still going to win the elections. And everybody is welcome at Moses Mabhida. The remarkable issue there on the Moses Mabhida 24 February is that there is no mkhunu that will destabilize anything. We are fine. So we are inviting everybody. Because what happened, the embarrassment that happened in Orlando and in Hammanskraal is not going to happen there. I sit down.
Chair Rafferty.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just before I ask for the approval of the changes of membership, I just need to remind councillors of the councillors' code of conduct that was given to all of us as we proceed in this new year. We know we're going into the election season, but we still are bound to fulfill our duties as councillors in the city of Johannesburg. We have seen in the past, there's a lot of councillors that do not attend Section 79 meetings. And I need to highlight that that is exactly where we go wrong. Because we say we want to keep the city accountable and we need to do what is right for our residents, but we don't attend meetings. So I appeal with everybody. Amidst the silly season that will be coming, we still have a job to do until you are promoted elsewhere. Salute to all the residents of the city of Johannesburg. If you have not registered, 3rd and 4th, Muni Baizani. Salute massacres.
Thank you, Councillor Rafferty. The recommendations of this item is on page 22.2. Is the item agreed to? Thank you, Councillor.
Councillors, we move to motions, which is item 8. And the first motion is for an assessment to be done in terms of upgrading an informal taxi rank and vendor space, and for the report with recommendations to come back to council for subsequent consideration and possible approval.
The proposer of the motion is Councillor J. Horwitz.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Greetings to Madam Speaker and fellow councillors, all protocol observed. Almost 50% of our citizens are unemployed. Our youth are most badly affected. Small and medium-sized businesses play a major role in most economies, but more so in developing countries. The World Bank states that SMEs account for the majority of businesses worldwide and are important contributors to job creation and global economic development. They represent about 90% of businesses and more than 50% of employment worldwide. Formal SMEs contribute up to 40% of national income in emerging economies. These numbers are significantly higher when informal SMEs are included, which is the case in South Africa today. Millions of jobs are needed now to combat the 50% or so of the unemployment rate right here in South Africa. This makes SME development a high priority for the DA. In my travels around my ward and Alex Township generally, speaking to people who either have a micro or small business or who would like to start one, there are two issues that stand out time and again. The first is not, as you might think, startup capital. No, it is space to set up a business and to trade from. The DA's policy for job creation is inextricably linked with its policy for SMEs. Supporting SMEs by providing infrastructure will make business easier, and more businesses that are capable of employing people, the more jobs will be created. For too many South Africans, the political freedom achieved in 1994 has not been matched with economic freedom. The fact that 1 out of every 2 South Africans does not have a job is the clearest and most devastating expression and consequence of this lack of economic freedom. Yes, the legacy of apartheid casts a long shadow. It continues to hold back many Black South Africans from enjoying equal access to economic opportunities. It is one of the main structural causes of poverty and inequality. That is why the DA supports measures to redress the legacy of the past, provided they broaden opportunities beyond an elite band of beneficiaries and which promote growth and jobs. No country can create jobs or include more people in the economy without economic growth. This insight informs the DA's plan for growth and jobs. Without opportunity, there can be no economic freedom. And without economic freedom, society is much less fair. As we prepare to form part of government later this year, we will, over the short and medium term, refocus and refine our economic priorities so as to create a nation of entrepreneurs by making it easier for South Africans to start and grow their own small business. We know of many huge businesses trading internationally that started in a garage or a basement or a spare
10
room.
seconds left.
People don't say nearly as much about how a business started with no funding. This is why we need space, and the location opposite the Edenvale Hospital is an ideal space to set up a formal taxi rank and... Thank you, Speaker.
Do we agree to this motion? Hmm? Can we then have the seconder? Can we have the seconder?
Thank you. Okay, I'm just going to have to hold it. I don't like doing that, but in any case, because it looks like I'm leaning on something and I'm not. Madam Speaker, I thank you. Good evening to all and all protocol observed. I rise in support of this motion. My counterpart, Councillor Horwitz, has already indicated the economic opportunities that come out of what we are requesting as a political party. What I want to go on and say is that there are more than just economic opportunities that will stem or flow from this if we are able to conduct the report which has been requested. This shouldn't be all that expensive to do, and I think that we would be doing the right thing for a lot of the residents in the city of Johannesburg. You know, Councillor Rafferty mentioned earlier that the silly season is on its way. Well, you know, Councillor Rafferty and everybody else, I think the silly season is unfortunately already here. And we want to find at times like this more occasion and opportunity as to what differentiates us as opposed to what unites us. And what I want to argue is that this is a good cause, which is something which we as a collective body sitting here tonight can actually allow to unite us to do the best that we can as we promulgate and promise to do for the residents of Johannesburg. We will be doing something positive for the residents of Johannesburg. Madam Speaker, the other point that I'd like to make in this regard is that very often new developments go up and we don't incorporate the necessary space or even discussions to determine if this is needed, and if there is, then where the necessary space will be for taxi ranks. So the informality of taxi ranks is a factor which abounds. We have an opportunity to formalize something, to put up structures, to assist people, so that when it rains, those people who go to Edenvale Hospital to go and visit people, the staff from the hospital and others will be able to shelter from the rain, and I think that is a humane thing to do. And this is besides, again, the economic opportunities. So, you know, I think that we need to support this because it would be doing the right thing. Madam Speaker, just as the last point, I think it would be remiss of me, because every other political party in this chamber has done so today, to invite all of those who would like to come, and we welcome you to do so, to our manifesto launch in Tshwane on the 17th of February. You're all welcome. Thank you.
MMC Kunene. MMC Kunene.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I really love Councillor Horwitz. When she speaks, it's so soothing. And she is such a good person Even when we do work in Bramley and Alex, she is such a darling. Madam Speaker, we signed a protocol agreement with the taxi industry as the transport department. The taxi industry is the only industry that does feasibility study in 2 days. They send taxis when they see a settlement. When the taxi comes with 3 people in the morning, they send another one during lunchtime. And when it comes with 2 people, they send another one in the evening. And tomorrow they will send another one. When it comes full, feasibility study has been done, and therefore they now have an informal taxi rank where they're going to operate. They are very quick. We have signed this. We have signed this protocol agreement with the taxi industry, with Santago and NTA, precisely because we want them to advise us on where the taxi ranks must be formalized, on what interventions the city can make in the industry. The vendor spaces in the city of Joburg has been taken over by the Pakistanis and the Bangladeshis and other illegal immigrants. Before we can talk about vendor spaces at the taxi rank, we must deport all these illegal immigrants so that South Africans don't have to compete with people who don't have papers here. We must implement what South Africans deserve and say abahambe. Once we have mass deported them, we can then talk about these vendor spaces. We can talk about funding young entrepreneurs to take over these vendor spaces because at the moment, they don't have funding and they are competing with people who are funded internationally to take over the economy that must be controlled by our people in the townships, and they misuse it. So, Madam Speaker, in as much as I appreciate Councillor Howitt, I must then ask the House to reject this motion. We will depend and rely on those who have got the expertise, which is the taxi industry. And from our meetings recently, they have not asked for any informal taxi rank to be formalized. They know better, they live there, they eat there, and they operate from there. Madam Speaker, let me conclude by saying, we have partners to go to every time we leave council. And I've noticed that people ask for caucuses, even on small things. And I'm appealing to councillors. If you don't have a partner to go to, we have. Let us respect time as we are in this council. I want to thank you, Madam Speaker, and say abahambe.
Councillor Belinda. Councillor Belinda.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. You've just proven what I said earlier. You allowed the Speaker to continue and ignored my hand, even when I called, Madam Speaker. So it's clear that you are silencing the opposition. Thank you very much.
Councillor Belinda, I called your name and the Speaker carried on. Councillor Howard. Councillor Howard.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, MMC Kunene, for your very kind words. MMC, this is not a pop-up taxi rank or an overnight operation. This taxi rank has been present across from Edenvale Hospital for, sure, as long as I've ever travelled Municipality Road, and that's going back some years. To ask something further, in terms of the agreement that you have with the Taxi Association, in the first place, why are we giving over responsibilities of the city of Joburg to a third party that has a conflict of interest? And secondly, why is it that councillors are not aware of this? Perhaps I've missed it in a notice or a press release. And thirdly, why is it that us councillors, particularly ward councillors, are not pulled into the conversations that are ongoing around where to place taxi ranks? Because we really do know our wards exceptionally well, and being ignored in this fashion is a little rude, if you don't mind me saying so. I do agree with your contention that we must deport illegal immigrants. I use those words advisedly because let's call a illegal immigrant an illegal immigrant. But we cannot wait for that to happen. That is...
Councillor Myers?
Speaker, when Councillor Howitz was talking about, and she mentioned the word illegal immigrant, one of the councillors from that side said that she is one of them. They must withdraw.
Do you know who the councillor is?
I don't know, but it must be withdrawn.
Councillors, councillors, councillors. Can we get to the bottom of this, please? Councillor Myers, do you know who it is? Councillors, whoever passed the remark, can we not do that, please? Right now, I cannot point the person, but can we not do that? Thank you. Councillor Howitz.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to my honourable colleague, Councillor Myers, for protection. I'm not bothered by nonsense mutterings from the left. It's when you get personal that you know you've lost the
Councillor, you
argument.
have 18 seconds left.
So whilst I agree that we must deport illegal immigrants, we cannot wait for that. That's passing the buck. And we don't have the time, the luxury of time for that. What we need is critical now. We need job creation. And this is the ideal way in which to get that.
Councillor Rainton. Councillor Howitz, your time was up when Councillor Rainton did what she did. Your time was up, Councillor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, ma'am. Councillors, can we not do what we do? Councillor Rainton, you were asked by your Deputy Chief Whip that you don't do what you did. So can we please, on both sides, not do those things? Councillor MMC Kunene has just said, some of you have partners to go home to. I don't. I can stay here the whole night. But I'm saying, Councillor Kunene just made it public that people have partners to go home to. So and there's no dinner tonight. So can we please just carry on? Yes, Councillor at the back. Yes, Councillor.
Thank you, Speaker. I don't know who said that lady is she's an illegal
The
immigrant.
councillor.
Yeah, but I just wanted to find out if Chan van Riebeck and the likes, when
No,
they came,
Councillor,
did
no.
they have passports?
No, Councillor, no.
Did they have
No.
passports?
Let's not go there. Let's not go there. Okay, can we... Councillor Rainton, asseblief toch. Councillor, can we now see who agrees with the motion? Those that are in agreement, can we see? Can we, by a show of hands? Can lower your hands. Those not in favor? That's it. Oh. You can lower your hands. Those that abstain? No one. Councillor Shay is on his feet, I think he's abstaining. Thank you, councillors. The results are as follow. Abstain, no, 0. No, 116. Yes, 101. The item is not carried. Someone's mic is on somewhere.
Councillors, we proceed with motion 2, which is for inspection of a pipe blockage likely caused by the tree roots.
Councillor Belinda or Councillor Not, 2 hands were up.
She's just helping me get your attention. Madam Speaker, the questions that were uploaded, the written questions, again, the attachments are icons. They are, you can't interact with them. So nobody can access the attachments that are on that PDF. I just want to raise it now so that it can be uploaded before we leave. Thank you.
I think the executive is taking note. Okay. Thanks, Acting Secretary.
Motion 2 is for inspection of pipe blockage likely caused by the tree roots at 6976 Thomas Molepo Street in River Park in Lombardy East in Ward 81, Region E, and concomitant resolution of badly blocked curb inlet across the road.
Councillor Horwitz.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. All protocol observed. The background to this motion is that River Park, when it was built a couple of decades ago, the curb inlets and stormwater drainage was not signed off at the end of construction. And the end result is that the Joburg Roads Agency has effectively ignored all requests for assistance to unblock drains and to maintain the curb inlets there. Now, this particular drain, or this particular curb inlet, is in the middle of a driveway and is blocked time and time again. We've had JRA out to unblock this curb inlet at least twice, and both times the residents have come out to explain the problem, and JRA officials have also discussed the problem with me. So it is through those submissions that I was able to determine that the main problem for this particular curb inlet seems to be that a tree has grown over where the stormwater drain was placed, and the tree roots have, in all probability, grown through the drain, broken it, and effectively has blocked this drain completely. We've just had humongous rains, and of course we have flooding yet again. So this is quite an urgent matter now, because we need to remove the tree or somehow find a way to remove the roots from the stormwater drain. I would also like to mention that we have so few jet vacs. At the time that the last unblocking occurred, there was exactly 1 jet vac available for the entirety of the city of Joburg. I understand some additional jet vacs have been bought in the meantime, and that was thanks to a colleague of mine's motion a couple of council meetings ago, so I do thank you. I think that was Councillor Marema. So all I'm really asking here is for an investigation, a formal investigation to be made into what is causing the blockage, whether or not this can be confirmed to be the tree, and if it is the tree, to have the tree suitably removed, or else to put in some sort of remedial action that prevents this stormwater drain from blocking time and time again. Thank you.
Do we agree to the motion? Councillor Rambane. Councillor Rambane.
Thank you very much, Speaker, and good evening to all councillors. When the Speaker asked the question whether does the councillors agree, I looked at Councillor Kunene and Councillor Marema to read their lips. They said no. And I want to say one thing. Councillor Marema, it is that area is in your constituency.
Councillor Rambane.
District is
Councillor
in your
Rambane,
constituency.
please.
I want to mention that that voting district is in Councillor Marema constituency. And children, when there's a blockage, we have young children that walk in the streets when they are going to school in the morning. Houses next to the area, they get flooded. There's a picture. You could see the picture there. We're talking about everyday thing that is happening, which we are saying, we are pleading that MMC, please reconsider for the benefit of our community. MMC, I know maybe your children, they live in Santini, don't have those kind of issues that our young black children are getting affected with every day. And communities, when they're flooded, their houses are flooded, and you say no. Just to remove the tree and clean the blocked pipe. And I'm telling you, I'm going to tell the people of River Park that the ANC, the PA, and their partners, they refused to clean the pipe. Thank you very much.
Councillor David Green. Councillor David Green from Action SA.
Good evening, Madam Speaker, councillors and guests in the chamber and the caucus of Action SA. Action SA believes in creating a professional public service where there is timely resolutions of service delivery requests. However, we do not want to set the wrong precedent that it is okay for entities to fail at their mandate. There are escalation protocols that should be followed. There are urban inspectors whose task is literally in its name, to inspect. In the event that service level agreements on turnaround times have lapsed, there's also an option for written questions to the relevant MMC. So let us not be complicit to the dereliction of duties by our city entities, but hold these entities accountable to their own mandate and for the benefit of our residents and in the interests of a functioning city. For these reasons, Action SA does not support this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. MMC Kunene.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am 12 months, so 11, yeah. Thank you for correction. You've been counting for me. And when I saw this motion, with this short time that I've been here, I understood that this did not require a motion. The councillor should have just become a citizen. Log a call, be in the queue like the rest of the citizens, get a reference number, and JRA comes out. But she still has animal farm benefits because she can talk to me. She can talk to MMC Makwenchu. She has spoken to me before, and we have gone to her ward. We have responded to her call to me, asking that JRA must do interventions. And Madam Speaker, when I started here, in my first few council sittings, I said I will never politicize service delivery. We will service everyone. And I've done so to many other councillors in the opposition. So let us not waste time. Councillor Howitz must wait for a reference number.
Can you just have a seat quickly, please? Councillor Butkow, on what point are you raising? Or rising?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. To report things is one thing, but especially when you report it to the MMC and he doesn't respond, that's another story. Thank you.
MMC, can you carry on with your...
I want to thank Councillor David Green. She stole my words. Let them follow that protocol. This thing is not a motion, Madam Speaker. It's a reference number matter. Get a reference number, stand in the queue. Otherwise, use your proximity to me. Call me, I'm available. 079 599 wow, 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 wow. Bye. Abahambe.
MMC, thank you. Councillor Howard.
Madam Speaker.
Councillor Howard.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and fellow debaters. Oh, if only it was so easy as logging a call and having JRA respond. I'm not trying to jump a queue. Last year, I logged myself around 18 or so of these curb inlets being blocked just in River Park. And the residents logged just as many themselves. We have 30 at least curb inlets blocked in River Park. The last time JRA were out, they cleared exactly 4 and promised they'd be back to do more. We haven't seen them. It's been months. Come on, don't be disingenuous. Come out, clear our curb inlets, clear our storm drains, and get it done for once and for all. It's not too much to ask when it's merely service delivery that you should be providing as a matter of course. You shouldn't be applauded for being a fish in water. Thank you.
Okay, can we have those that's in favor of the motion lift their hands? You may put down your hands. Those not in favor? Those not in favor of the motion? Where's Auntie? You can lower your hands now. Those that abstain. Those that abstain. Do we have 2 action essays that abstain?
Yes, 66.
Thank you, councillors. 66 yes, 150 no, and no abstain. The item is not carried. Thank you.
We are now on motion 3, which is recommending an urgent investigation into the illegal dumping of health or medical waste on the open land opposite the FNB Stadium in the city of Johannesburg.
The proposer is Councillor N. Johnson.
Speaker, I would like to withdraw the motion.
Thank you.
We proceed with motion 5, which is recommending that the City of Johannesburg awards, oh, sorry.
Councillor Not.
Thanks, Madam Speaker. The DA caucus has urgent business they need to attend to. Unfortunately, we are going to have to leave. We thought we would be done, Council, by this time. Unfortunately, there were delays at the start, but we would just like to inform you. Thank you.
Go to the next item.
Motion 5 is recommending that the City of Johannesburg awards Ndate Papsi Mlangeni with the Freedom of the City as the highest honor of recognition.
On item 4.
Oh, my apologies, councillors. We are on item 4, which is recommending that all shacks in Adelaide, Tambo informal settlement, and all surrounding informal settlements must be audited. Thanks.
Councillor Mazwai.
Councillor Maswazi, Speaker.
Apologies, Councillor.
Yeah, thank you. Greetings to you, Speaker. You see, the benefit of being part of the GLU is that there's cooperation. So we have decided that this motion will be withdrawn and the MMC of Human Settlement will be dealing with the matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillors, please, please. Go.
We are on motion 5, which is recommending that the City of Johannesburg awards and Ndate Papsi Mlangeni with the Freedom of the City as the highest honor of recognition.
Councillor Mnyameni.
It's out, Speaker.
Okay. Next one. The second, Councillor Nzimande. Ndlela. Ageko. The motion falls away.
Motion 6 is requesting the City of Johannesburg to supply adequate cleaning material for all local clinics in our metro.
Councillor Z. Matope. Councillor Matope. Ageko. Where's the second? Nzimande. Okay.
Motion 7 is recommending that the City of Johannesburg Metropolitan Municipality conducts a comprehensive feasibility study to assess the viability of distributing 5,000-litre water tanks to qualifying residents within the municipality.
Councillor Mosetla. Mike. To your neighbor. Go to your neighbor, Councillor Mosetla.
It's there. Thank you very much, Speaker. I'm withdrawing the motion for proper structuring. We'll come back in the next meeting. Thank you.
Technical error.
Lastly, we are on motion 8, which is recommending that the City Council resolves to prioritize the refurbishment of Apollo lights in the specified areas during the upcoming budget adjustment.
Councillor Tsedo. Councillor Zita. Yo. It falls away. The motion falls away. That's right.
We are now on announcements.
Councillors, thank you very much. for your contribution today in the meeting. The meeting has been adjourned. I thank you.
Thank you, Speaker.
They thought they're going to get us.
Okay.